It's afternoon. It's nearly 3 p.m. I've not been able to get on, but I wanted to come in and, check in with y'all and see what's going on. I've got, today I went into all of my paints. You know how you have like the paint drawer or the paint pan. I've got this pan that I took from the kitchen that I never use. And I keep my paints in there. I was like, okay, I know the paints that I always use, but what about all those other ones? What have I got? What's going on here? And, check it out. So I've kind of put all of the paints in their distinct piles, the yellows, the reds, the greens, the blues, the earth tones, the blacks. And every time I go down to the city and think about buying paint, I come in and I don't ever buy the paints. Like I'm thinking I need a yellow, like a cad yellow. I haven't got one. It's almost all done, or a lemon yellow. And I'm thinking I need to get one. And then I come here and, this is the end of my cad and lemon yellows. Like, a couple of, maybe one more painting's worth. But like, I've got these two things of yellow ochre. I've got this Indian yellow, which is an absolutely scrumptious color. I love it. I love it. And then I have this Naples yellow, which is old. Like I hardly ever use it. And so, I think, well, do I actually need to go out and buy that cad yellow? I can use these and just kind of see what it's like to paint with the earth tones, like how they painted back in the day. And, I've got, check this out. I was looking at this. Raw sienna. These are both raw siennas. Look how different they are. Like, they're really different. And, I can use these. And so I'm going through this. Why isn't this going on? I'm going through my colors and I'm thinking, okay, what do I really, really, really need right now? I'm also getting ready to do a video on using black. Like, when should you bring black back into your palette? Because, I'm always talking about you don't need black. Mix your own. And the reason why I do that is because, especially if you're starting out, and even if you've been painting for a while, there are certain colors that people tend to rely on, and black is one of them. And I'm not saying don't use it, because this is a very useful color. It is. It's very useful. But especially when you're starting out, if you start out learning how to mix your own blacks, then when you bring the blacks into your palette and use them, you know how to use them really well. They really become advantageous to an addition on your palette. So I'm going to do a video on that. I think it might be my next one, or, assessing your your box or your drawer of oil paints and going with that. So yeah, I've got all these colors that I need to use them up. Some of them I bought many, many years ago. And yeah, usually oil paints last quite a long time. my dioxazine purple, this one, when I poured it out on the palette, there's like little chunks in it, little tiny chunks. But if I mix it up on the palette with the palette knife, and I do it for quite a long time, those little clumping, that little clumping disappears, right? It becomes workable paint again. And, you know, I need to look into that. Good morning from New York. How's life in New York City? It's good to see you. It's afternoon here. So you must, it's what, 3 o'clock. So you're like 7 hours behind us. So how you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. So I've been pulling out all the colors on my palette. Like I've had this dioxazine purple. It's Winsor Newton. And then I don't know why I went out and bought another one when I had this. Maybe I was in the States or something, and I needed a purple, or I thought I needed a purple. It's a very, very strong color. But, you know, what do you do with it if it's got those little specks and like little tiny, tiny clumps? It's like the actual pigment just is kind of clumping together and separating from the oil. And, you know, when I work it again, it becomes perfectly fine paint. But is it usable? Is it usable? In these studies that I'm doing, then yeah, you know, anything's usable because I'm just doing them on paper. They're not archival, you know, whatever. I just want to get the paint down. So, you know, I'm kind of assessing what I have, what I use, what works for me, where I've gotten stuck, you know, like using a dioxazine purple. I was very much reliant on it when I was learning how to paint, along with yellow ochre. That's my other one. And I've got yellow ochre. I've got plenty of it. So it's an interesting idea to bring it back into perspective and to really take a look at the paints that I've bought, what works for me, what doesn't. The paints that don't work for me, like in the greens, right? I learned when I learned how to paint to use Viridian. So that feels comfortable because that's what I learned. But, you know, what about like the Terra Vert or the Sap Green? How would I use them effectively in my painting? And, you know, maybe some of these colors I actually don't really need. Which one is this? Oh, this is a Prussian blue. And phthalocyanine green, which is a really, really powerful green. And, you know, I've used it in my seascapes, but it is a very, very powerful green. And, you know, it's really interesting to go back and look at all of the stuff. So I've got that going. I'm going to do a video on that, just going through your old paints and what do you do with them. How might you put them to use on your palette without them overpowering what you normally do? Is one idea. You know, all these different blues that I have, most of them are ultramarine. And my reds, I haven't really got, well, I mean, I have my quinacridone rose, which is my favorite, and I'm always using it, and it's ending. It's at the end of its life. So I'm going to need to get another one. This is alizarin, which yeah. And then I also have this Carmen Red, which is a student grade. And I'm going to use them on these studies. You can see the, right? It's a perfectly fine red. And then these cad reds. And what I'm thinking is, because I don't really use cad reds in my landscapes, what I really want to do is move my focus on more of the earth reds and working on a more classical palette using the colors of the old masters, right? And finding different ways to create the greens in a landscape, let's say. Finding different ways to work with you know, what I want to study is using two different colors next to each other to create a stronger sense of, let's say, green or blue, without actually using a green or blue. And I think it's a fascinating idea. I don't know if any of you have done that. If you have done that, I think Corby, if you see this afternoon musings, you have also worked in the earth tones. So I'm kind of curious to hear what you have to say on it. Hey, sweetie, I'm just talking about you. So I'm curious about what you have learned about using the earth tones for your paintings. And I know last year when I think it was last year, you were talking that you just use the classic earth tones and are creating your colors that way by depending on which color you lay next to another, and how that affects what the eye sees. Will you see it as more green, or will you see it as bluish, or will you, will it just be a gray or brown? And I'm interested in that, and I'm going to work on that as well. So the Pixie Dust painting challenge, I have started filming that and putting that together. So that's coming very, very soon. I have decided that I'm going to paint the challenges, and then we're going to get together on a specific day, and so that I can talk with you guys, whoever wants to follow that along, and talk about the different things. And then I think a couple of times we'll do actual real live ones as well. So it's going to kind of be a mix of the two. I think that'll work nicely. I think it'll be nice to actually all hang out and paint for a half an hour, trying to put a landscape together, if possible. I don't do well with talking and painting at the same time, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. So, but the advantage of pre-recording it is that you guys can watch it anytime, whatever time works best for you, if you're not able to actually show up for the live session. So I've got that going. That's the first painting up there I actually did the other day. Earth colors look a bit rough on the palette, but are great once you trust them. Yeah, Corby, absolutely. That has been my difficulty with them, because I'm used to having color and working with a primary palette and dulling colors down. So it's kind of an interesting idea for me to really simplify it even more. Like, for example, I may not actually go out and buy a yellow until I've used the siennas that I have and the yellow ochres. Okay, see you. Thanks for coming on. Talk to you later. Um, and just kind of working with that and putting that all together. Those are the things on my mind in the studio. So I'm going to get to filming and creating this new video on paints, and also filming this next one that I've got going. I've got an abstract that I'm playing with. It's just the first under base layer, and want to begin building up on that. I'm oftentimes taken with letting go of the conventional pathway of creativity that I'm usually on. That's like a conscious process of the whole thing, and doing paintings like this, where you're just letting go of what you're supposed to do and going on what your intuition is telling you to do, without any real worries of things being right or wrong, if it's going to be likable or not likable, if it's going to work or not work, and so I'm playing around with that. I'm doing this in acrylics, just to, at least for now. I may move into oils afterwards if I like what's happening, and working with that. So I put down dark layers because I want this to be a light painting, and I like when I'm working more up in this area, right, painting from in this realm, and not getting down to the nitty gritty of it it's like with landscapes, like putting it together, just kind of making the connection with this whole mental area and the creative area down in the second chakra, right? In that creativity area, and kind of marrying the two together so that they're connected and you're painting. So I have a plan and I have a feeling that I want with this one, but nothing more than that. And I want to experiment with what happens and how I move through that process. So it's kind of a trial and error thing, and so I'm working on that as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys, for right now. I'm going to get back to work. Wishing you a beautiful day. Be inspired, be creative, be you. And I will see you all again, I think, tomorrow. Take care.